Your hair is annoying me mad. Lol, you need to do something to it, lol. It's just there, and I'm like, you. Okay, well, I guess I could cut it if that would work. Or you could put it in a bun. Put it in a bun, you say? I feel weird. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to go through the WATA submission process so you can successfully send your video games off for grading. I'm going to walk with you through the whole website portion here in just a second, and after that we're going to go over how to properly ship them so that we can make sure they get there in the condition that you sent them in. Before we get into it, if this is your first time on the channel, I'm not saying you have to subscribe to the channel, but like, picture this. Imagine you're at a restaurant and you just finished eating. The waiter's going to come by with the little machine there, the little pad machine, and on it there's the option to tip, and you don't have to tip, right? You don't have to, but I mean, treat the subscribe button a little bit like that, because I'm going to be standing here over you making sure that you do click it. So, that's enough of that though. Give me 1 second here, I'll swap scenes and we'll get into the WATA submission process. Alright, so this is what you're going to see when you get to watagames.com. And the first thing you're going to want to do here is create a new account. So if you just click on this card icon up here, it's going to let you go through the process of creating an account. I'm just going to get signed into my account and then we'll continue. Perfect. So now you can see at the top here that I'm signed in. So what I'm going to do is go submit a game. And for this example, what we're going to be submitting is a factory sealed Duke Nukem 64 on Nintendo 64. A really cool game that I am actually going to get graded at some point. Just I haven't gotten around to it yet. So for the first screen they give you here, you just need to submit your game. So I'm just going to go select platform, and you can scroll this if you want, but it's easier to just type in the platform of the game in question. So Nintendo 64, select the game name of Duke. They're going to show you everything with Duke in it. Duke Nukem 64, standard game. This is my game. On the next page here is where you're going to enter in all of the details about the game. So the first column we're going to look at here on the left-hand side is game state. And they allow you to submit sealed games, complete in box games, or even just a loose cartridge if you want to. Right now, the loose cartridge is closed, likely due to their backlogs, but they will open that up in the future and you can submit a loose cartridge if you want to. So since the Duke Nukem in question is factory sealed, we're going to be submitting a sealed game. The next column we're going to look at here is the declared value, and this is going to be the amount of insurance you get on your game while it's at WATA. So if anything happens to it, say, for whatever reason they damage your game, this is the amount of money that you can expect to get for it if that happens. So in the instance of Duke Nukem 64, it's going to be somewhere in this range right here. So I'm actually just going to pick this one because I want to have more insurance on it just in case. If you do have a game that's really expensive, down here in this column here, you can enter in, say, 15,000, and then you can have the insurance value of 15,000. And the last section on this page is just the game details, which is actually super straightforward. You just put in the quantity of games. Since we're submitting one Duke Nukem, there's going to put a 1 there. And in this notes section over here, this is where you can put in a specific variant of a game if you're submitting that, or you can put in something like remove sticker on the back of the game. So then if you choose heavy cleaning in the next section, they'll know that you want them to look at and potentially remove the sticker on the back of your game. For this example, we're not doing anything, so I'm just going to clear this out and hit the continue button. Alright, so now we get to the meat and potatoes of the WATA submission. This page is going to let us choose how long it's going to take and how much it's going to cost. So let's just look at what options we have available to us. In this left side column of display type, you can choose either the 3D banner or the 2D flat. I'm going to put up different photos of each of them so you'll be able to compare them side by side. The 3D banner is what you see almost every WATA game in, so I do recommend you get this if you do not have personal preference that makes you want the 2D one. Everyone uses 3D, so you'll just fit in with the crowd and it'll be easier to sell. And next is service level, which is going to decide how much is it going to cost, how long is it going to take. And the first thing you can tell here is they actually have their select tier closed due to backlogs. So the cheapest tier you can choose is Turbo, which will cost you $60. Or you can go faster for $85, or you can go even faster for $210. And you're going to see these estimates here of 90 business days, 15 business days. Just know that WATA is running behind. It's very likely it's going to take longer than this estimated time. Just be prepared for that. If you want the game back in a decently reasonable amount of time, I suggest you go with speedrun at minimum. I know that's pretty expensive per game at $85, but the demand is overwhelming right now, so you can go with Turbo, but just know that you might be looking at 6 months plus before you get the game back. For this example, I am going to use speedrun because I do want to get the game back in a normal amount of time. And lastly, over here on the right hand side of the screen, we're going to look at the add-on services. So let's start with Deep Badge Upgrade. What the hell does that mean? So the deep badge upgrade is this visual upgrade to the WATA case. You can see it when you look at it from the side. Again, I'll put up a picture here so you can see the difference, what it looks like to a normal one. It's a purely aesthetic upgrade if you want it, and there's no actual evidence that you need to have this in order to sell your game for more money. If you think it looks nice, go for it. If you don't think it looks nice or is worth the $8, don't bother. It's purely your choice. In this instance, since I'm already paying for the more expensive grading, I'm not going to get the deep badge upgrade. I don't think it matters. Next up, we have our two cleaning options of light cleaning and heavy cleaning. So let's just start with the light cleaning. And this is where they're just going to take your game and they're going to remove any surface level dirt, debris, anything that you might have missed. They're going to take it and wipe it down for you. If you haven't done any kind of cleaning on your own, you haven't wiped it, you haven't touched it, I do recommend you get the light cleaning. It's very likely they'll remove some level of dirt, even if you can't see it, and it will result in a higher grade. However, if you've already wiped it down yourself using rubbing alcohol, Goo Gone, or something like that, then there's no reason to get the light cleaning. It's not going to do anything else for you. The other type of cleaning they do is heavy cleaning. And this is where they can actually remove stickers, sticker residue, tape, anything like that. They can actually clean off these types of things that might otherwise detract from your grade. If you have a big sticker on the game or you have residue, I definitely recommend you get the heavy cleaning so that you can get that off and get the higher grade. It's worth the $24. But again, if you don't have stickers or residue or something very noticeable, don't bother paying for the heavy cleaning. You don't need to waste the $24. Next off, you can get the photo services if you want, and this is purely for you if you want them to provide you with photos of your game. I don't think most people opt for this, but if you want professional photos done, go for it. Good $10. I assume due to backlogs, they have actually closed off graders report, testing, and board photos, so you can't choose any of those options. And this reholder at the bottom is if you have a cracked WATA case already, they can put it into a new case and charge you $25 for it. So for this Duke Nukem example, let's say I haven't cleaned it myself, I don't feel comfortable, I don't see any stickers on it or residue, so I'm just going to get the light cleaning and that should be perfectly sufficient for this order. So let's add that to our queue. And perfect! You can see that we have our first game added to our queue. Now if you're going to submit multiple games, you can just go ahead and click on add another down here at the bottom and you start the process all over again. Since we're only submitting one game in this example, I'm just going to go back to where we were and we're going to move to the next step. So the next step in the order is actually the shopping cart, which is where you're going to start entering in your information. So down here, I'm just going to go ahead and put myself in as Canada, and they only give me one option for Canada, and no promo codes exist for WATA as far as I know. Once you put in your info on the left-hand side, your order summary is going to update with the shipping and insurance value. So you can see that they're going to charge me $44.40, and this shipping charge is for the return shipping. Once WATA ships the games back to me, you will still need to pay to ship the games to WATA. This shipping charge does not cover that. You can ship to them however you choose. Up here at the top of the screen, you can review all of the options you've chose to make sure it's all correct. You can make sure you've chose your light cleaning, heavy cleaning, your photos, whatever you need. Make sure to review this before we move on to the next step. Now we get right to the checkout here, and this is where you're going to put in all of your information, and I'm just going to hit proceed. And now it's going to take you to your review screen. And on this screen, you just want to review all of your information, review your invoice, make sure it's correct. Once again, review all of your options, make sure they're correct, and you have to agree with the WATA service agreement. You can go ahead and click that, but unless you agree to this, you're not using WATA games. We can go ahead and click proceed. And then it takes you to the payment option. And this is where I'm going to tap out because I don't actually want to send games off for grading right now. After you submit your payment information, you're going to be given a confirmation screen that is going to have a little QR code on it. You're going to want to take that confirmation screen, print it out, and include it with your order. That code that is on the piece of paper is going to be scanned by WATA once they receive your order, and they'll know exactly what to do with it. Welcome back. If you still have any questions about the submission process, make sure to comment them down below and I will be sure to answer you. It's better that everyone can see the comments, as I'm sure it will help out everyone to read them. So now I just want to go over some strategies and best practices that you should use when you ship your item to WATA. Like I said, you want to ensure it gets there in the same condition that you sent it. The first thing I want to make mention of are the two main forms of protection you're going to use for the game right off the bat. And these are using either standard plastic protectors or using a heavy-duty acrylic protector. For almost every game that I send in for grading, I find it sufficient to just use the cheaper plastic protectors. They provide a nice sturdy outer shell for the item just to protect against crushing damage or any other kind of scuffing scratching. If you want to kick it up and use a more premium form of protection, you can buy acrylic cases for your games. Each one of these is going to be $20, $30, $40 though, depending on where you live, so you'll have to decide if that's worth it for you. Like I said, I've had no issues just using the cheap plastic ones for myself. If you don't want to use either of those methods, you actually can just wrap the game in some bubble wrap and stick it in some Tupperware as well. that actually provides really good protection. Once you have your game inside of one of these forms of protection, you're going to want to place it inside of a box with ample padding and close off that box. Next, you're going to want to place it inside of another box. And again, using bubble wrap, packing peanuts, all kind of ample forms of protection so that there's no movement in case of crushing. Now, using 2 boxes, I absolutely recommend no matter what game you're sending. Just use 2 boxes. If it's a very expensive game, use 3 boxes. Just find ones and make it work. You want it to be like nesting eggs, so that if the first box gets pummeled, well then at least the next box might not be damaged, or the box inside of that might not be damaged. You just want to try and eliminate your risk in shipping. You never know what might happen. Once you have it packaged up in multiple boxes and it's all looking good, just place your confirmation form right on top and send it on its way to WATA Games. Make sure to buy insurance at the post office. You don't want anything to happen to it during shipping. Once you send it to WATA, they will confirm once they've received it and you will enter into their grading queue. You can then check your profile to see how far along your games are on their website. Hopefully that helps you with your first submission to WATA Games. I'm also going to do a follow-up video on VGA on how to submit to them. So if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Like I said, any questions, make sure to put them down below and I absolutely will answer you. Collecting and owning sealed games is a lot of fun and they look great on displays, so hopefully you can also enjoy them. Anyways, that's all for me. See you guys next time. Well, just got done reshooting the entire video basically because the first time I shot it, it was just terrible. I was working through the editing and I played it back to myself and I was just like, oh my god, like this sucks. This video's terrible. So, I mean, back to the drawing board, right? Reshoot it. So hopefully the version you just watched, you were like, oh, like that was good. Because if you also thought that this version was terrible, then shit.